What is up, my friends? How are we? Pleasure to be back with you. A little bit earlier than normal, but it's Super Bowl Sunday, so we've got to give people a chance to get settled in later on. How we all doing? We good? The AFCON Cup final is on as we speak as well. We'll be talking a little bit about Xabi Alonso and what we can expect regarding a potential approach or announcement for him. Not muted. There you go, Harry. See? Tell me I'm muted. That's you, banned. Hope it was worth it, Harry. Enjoyed that time out, sir. Yeah, not on mute. I knew I wasn't on mute because I was listening to music before I went live, so I had the mic muted for that. Then I turned the mute off because I wanted to make sure I was good to go. So yeah, not on mute for once. I'm on point today. Maybe it's because I had a warm-up earlier on with doing the watch-along with Adam and that. But yeah, definitely not on mute today. I'm on point. Right, we've a load to get through tonight, my friends. We'll be talking, of course, about the victory yesterday. Next game up against Brentford away. Will we have the great man back? I hope so at that point. We'll be talking about Ruben Amorim and how much it would cost for Liverpool or anybody else who would like to get him at a Sporting Lisbon. Spoiler alert, it's a pretty significant amount of money. Good evening, Craig, and everyone in the chat. To John Power. John, how are you, mate? Welcome in. Jack Macklin said, Craig, who do you have for tonight? I don't know. I can't make a pick, honestly. I think it's a 50-50, but whoever wins, it's going to be a really cool story. You either get the Chiefs getting 3, which I guess puts them in dynasty territory, or you get Brock Purdy getting that super storyline where last pick in the draft and he goes on and wins a Super Bowl. Mr. Irrelevant becomes Mr. Relevant. So yeah, whatever it's going to be interesting. Right, love watching Craig. You're amazing and funny. Keep up the great content. Thank you, Carla. You're very kind. I think I get some of my sense of humour from my dad. He had a very dry sense of humour as well. So I think I get some of my sarcasm and stuff from him. Why ban somebody for telling you you're on mute? Because I wasn't on mute. Is that a good enough reason, dickhead, or do I need to explain myself to you any further? How about I tell him his family's dead? Does that work? It's not true, but, if we're just all allowed to say stupid shit. And also, I keep telling you, I'll do whatever I want. That's the joys of it, mate. I don't have to explain myself to you or anybody else. If people show respect, I give it back. If people act like assholes, they get treated like assholes. It's that simple. Don't know how you don't get it yet. I've been the same for 6 years. So there you go. That's why, because I wasn't on mute. If I was on mute, I'd say thank you very much. There you go. And you can't even spell knob, Stephen. You're that tick, you can't even spell the word knob. It's not spelled N-O-B, princess. There's a K in there, but there you go. Most of you trolls aren't very clever people anyway, so your spelling is atrocious, dude. But learn again. Will this Xabi saga be another Bellingham saga? Look, I'm confused about one thing, about the whole Xabi Alonso situation in Liverpool. This wait until the summer part, we can't be doing that. We can't. We just can't. I know, I totally understand the side of it from the Leverkusen side, Alonso side, all of that, but we can't wait till the summer. We cannot hang on that late, because that means you're playing catch up with transfer business. It means you're just playing catch up. We need to get this resolved as early as possible, in my humble opinion. I do understand, of course, he's in a job at the moment, and he's doing a very good job. I'm sure a lot of you guys watched that 3-0 victory yesterday against Bayern Munich, and it didn't flatter Bayer Leverkusen one bit. They just hunted all around the pitch and absolutely played them off the park. But I don't think we can hang on till the summer. I mean, I'm interested to know what you guys think. Do you think the summer would be too late? I do, but, this is a democracy, so I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Craig, love watching you, but once made a mistake telling you your live was muted when it wasn't because I accidentally skipped back to a point it was. It's grand, Jake, because it's not today, mate. Look, I've been muted many times, Jake, and I've had to have been told I've been muted many, many times, bud, but today wasn't one of them days, and I just didn't appreciate the guy being a bit of a poo head. Let's just call it that and go on. So, Ruben Amorim. Not only has he been linked with the Liverpool job, he's also been linked with the Barcelona gig. But one potential stumbling block for anybody seems to be the buyout. I didn't realise it was this high, because last time we mentioned Ruben Amorim, the number mentioned was about £17 million, but €30 million is apparently the release clause. At least that's what is being reported at the moment. €30 million to get a manager out of a job. Whew, that's a lot of money for a manager. I don't know what the record is in world football for having to pay for a manager to get out of a contract, but I would imagine that's probably not too far off. €30 million. Don't know if anybody pay that. As good as Ruben Amorim seemingly is, 30 million quid? Don't know, I can't see us doing it anyway. Although I do think Xabi Alonso is by far and away the number one target at the moment for us. I think you'll all probably agree with that as well. What else have we got here coming in? So from Transfer Sector, they say Liverpool have made a first approach for Xabi Alonso to replace Jurgen Klopp at the end of the season. It's so confusing, right? Because I do get the respectful side of it for Leverkusen, who, and look, if this was the other way around and somebody was coming in to try and take our manager when we were in a title race and in the European competitions and still in the domestic competition and still unbeaten, yeah, it would be a distraction and it would be a pain in the backside. But that's why I think it makes sense that it's sorted sooner. So let's say, as an example, we heard an announcement next week that at the end of the campaign, Xabi Alonso will become the next Liverpool manager. I think that just lets everybody then get back to work and finish the campaigns that they have. Fans, we can look forward to the last few months with Jurgen Klopp. Leverkusen know where they stand. That would be my preference, but of course it would. I'm a Liverpool fan who wants Xabi Alonso to be our next manager, so let's wait and see what happens. I mean, there's some quotes from the Bayer Leverkusen side. Their sporting director, Mr. Rolfs, I believe his name was, said he was asked if the Spaniard would be at the club next season, and he replied, "Yes, I'm sure. One reason, the contract. The other thing is how comfortable he feels, the family, himself, and he knows what club he has." He said he's also a very good team. We have a very good perspective next year. There's no change in the team. We'll definitely have a top team available next year. These are all points that, in addition to contracts, coaches like Xabi, but also players who have interest, often stay with us. So he seems a little bit confident that Alonso will still be there next season. Can't say I feel that confident. I think he's nailed on to come to Liverpool, in all honesty. And I think he will take the opportunity if the job's offered to him. But as of right now, he is obviously the Bayer Leverkusen manager, and we have to respect that. Leverkusen are flying, 5 points clear, said Paul Summerfield. Yep, absolutely. That victory was huge over Bayern Munich yesterday, and it made a statement. It made a statement that they dealt with Bayern so easily. It made a statement that he's getting a tune out of the players, because you know, they hunted in packs, and I said this when we were doing the watch along with Adam earlier on. I thought they were phenomenal. Like, really, to a man, every single one of them. Grimaldo with a great game, and Bayern just couldn't lay a glove on them. Sorry for the comment, it was a joke. Not a funny one though, Harry. My man, that's why I just timed you out and not banned you, because I know you at this point, and I know that you're a good person. But yeah, it's because it throws me off, mate. That's why I was annoyed by it. Yeah, I'm one of these people that I get knocked off course very easily, unfortunately. So when you said mute, I was like, firstly disappointed in myself because I made sure I wasn't on mute today. But look, all good. Let's just push on, bro, and forget about it. So under 21s today had a very good victory. Lewis Kuma scored a brace, and Amar Nalo strike clinch victory for the Young Reds with a 3-1 victory over Stoke City at the Academy today. So well done to everybody involved there. Kumas obviously doing very well this season. That's propelled him towards first team opportunities. For the right manager, money is irrelevant, said Liam, to a degree, but at least money in football is crazy anyway. It is. And look, we will have to pay compensation if we go for a manager in a job. No surer thing than that. But I just hope we get Alonso at this point. It just feels like it'll be an anticlimax if it doesn't happen. Now, a little bit on Mohamed Salah. He's back doing a few bits on the training ground and looks like he's starting to step up his rehab. You've probably seen the pictures posted in socials and stuff. So I'd love to have him available for the trip to Brentford next week, because that's going to be a tough game, especially a 12:30 kickoff away from home. They throw up strange results, so we need to make sure that we keep the train on the tracks, because Arsenal today, you can't say anything other than extremely impressive in their 6-0 mauling of West Ham. Obviously, Manchester City yesterday picked up their win. We managed to get our win against Burnley at home, and we can't drop any more points, I don't think, for the foreseeable. We want to be getting to that game against Manchester City in as strong a position as possible. Fully agree, Craig. Always has to be Alonso for me. Would bring an amazing style of football. We can call it Xabi ball, but I really hope it's not Bellingham all over again. Look, on this one, I'm going to make it really clear. I have nothing. I don't know anything you don't know. I'm just basing my thought process off what's most likely, and I can't see another person as good a fit as Alonso. But we have to convince him, obviously, that it's the right move for him. And if we can do that and he becomes Liverpool manager, I think we'll all be very happy. If we can't do that and he stays with Leverkusen or goes elsewhere, then I'm genuinely stumped as to who's the other option. I don't know if Ruben Amorim is the guy. Certainly wouldn't feel comfortable with Julian Nagelsmann at Liverpool. I don't think he's a good cultural fit for me anyway. And outside of that, I don't really have many other names in world football that I think would be a good fit right now to come in and take over the job that's been so incredibly done by Jurgen Klopp. People say City's kicking into gear. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, because I'm not seeing the same thing everybody else is, perhaps. I don't know. But I think that it's more the media are talking them into gear than anything else. I don't see this swashbuckling, beat everybody before them powerhouse anymore. I don't see City that way. I think they're a good team. Of course they are, and they've as good a chance as us as winning whatever, but I don't see it the same way. I've said it from the start of the season. Go all the way back when they were unbeaten 3 or 4 games in. I was still saying the same thing. I don't see the same fear factor in this Manchester City team this year. But they are still there or thereabouts, and if they win the game in hand, they'd be 1 point ahead of us at the top of the league. But let's have a look at the bookies odds actually on this, because they have Manchester City as favourites. Then they have us coming in just over 2-1. But then it goes all the way to 8-1 for Arsenal. So the bookies see a big drop off from us and Manchester City down to Arsenal. So bookies may be looking at it as a potential 2-horse race, even though I think Arsenal certainly are in the race. Arteta clearly studied Pep Linder's book Intensity. I wish he'd never released it. I don't like Arteta. That's okay though, because I'm sure Arsenal fans don't like Klopp either. But yeah, for me, I can't take to him. He's just not a likeable person for me. How many trophies would Xabi win with us? No idea, George. No idea, bro. Let's get him through the door first and see how we get on. David Sharples, thank you for upgrading your membership to Anfield Agenda Ultras, buddy. Really appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you in Discord. Don't forget to check out the membership tab there and you'll see the link. Leverkusen football is so nice. I'd like to see it next season in Liverpool. Do you think Alonso will play with a back three? I think so, P. I hope so. Like, I can't imagine the manager coming in and changing his philosophies and the way he sets his teams up. I think we could do the system that Leverkusen play. We might need to bring in another centre-back. But, if you're looking at wing-backs and stuff, we definitely have the personnel to be able to play those. Whether it's Costas, whether it's Robbo, whether it's Bradley, whether it's Trent. We definitely do have personnel that can play in those wing-back positions. It's the number 10s that would probably be my concern. Like, would he look to get a tune out of Fabio Carvalho, as an example? Would he look at him as somebody who'd be a good fit for a system? What happens with the sporting director? Who makes the signings? These are all things that we kind of not take for granted, but we're so used to with Jurgen Klopp. We know he's the decision maker. He's the last say on these things. But with a new manager coming in, the trust has to be built up and earned, I guess, with the owners. What would happen if Xabi comes in and underperforms? I guess it depends on the expectations. Steel FC, I don't know what everybody's expectations will be of a new manager coming in. I think as long as we're still in the conversation for a Champions League qualification spot after year one, then that'll be okay. Obviously, you'd hope for a little bit more than that, but at this point, the goal has to be to make sure we can keep getting Champions League football and keep generating Champions League money, especially with the way the new FFP system that's been spoken about could be implemented. Could give us more wiggle room to spend money. And that's another part. How much money is he going to be given? Like, would he come into the club and the owner say to him, well, Jurgen's already rebuilt this team. We don't think it needs that much, so therefore you're going to have somewhat of a limited transfer budget. Or would they come in and back him from the start and say, well, look, yes, there's a good team there, but if you need 2 or 3 people, let's do it early doors. Let's front load and see how we get on. I'd hope that's the case. You know, you'd certainly look for some assurances, whoever you are coming into a new job. What's happening? Just join. Nothing really, mate. We're just kind of chatting the breeze about Xabi Alonso's situation, going through all the different permutations. Will he stay at Leverkusen, or excuse me, will he commit to Leverkusen and not come? Will he come in the summer? Will he only have discussions in the summer? Transfer sector said Liverpool are really well informed on the situation of Xabi Alonso. Liverpool know everything about his contract situation at Bayer Leverkusen and how to find a way to appoint Xabi Alonso in the summer. I just don't know if we can wait that long for the appointment. I think we need some certainty before then, because we need to plan. Would you sign Ange if given the opportunity? Yes, I do. I do like Ange Postecoglou. I have to admit, I do. I think he would be very well received as well at Liverpool, but I also think he's in a good job. And, you know, it was a big appointment from Daniel Levy for him at Spurs, and he's doing a good job. So I certainly don't see a world that Daniel Levy will be looking to get rid of Ange Postecoglou. He'd be crazy to do that. Any news on a sporting director? Not that I've seen, Sean. No, my friend. It is rather quiet on that front. Now, look, we've seen links to the West Ham sporting director. We've seen links to the Bournemouth sporting director. But I don't have any updates that I've been able to come by, or any articles I've read that have thrown new names into the conversation. Do you think there will be a transition in success like from Joe Fagan to Dalglish? Again, it's a lot of hypotheticals. It would be, honestly, no. I don't think there's going to be too much of a drop off. That's my initial instinct. Is that okay? Yes, Xabi will come in, or whoever comes in, and they'll want to make their stamp on the team, and they'll want to get them playing a slightly different brand of football, perhaps. But ultimately, I don't expect much of a drop-off, no, because there's a lot of good senior players at Liverpool Football Club who have been around a while now, and I think that what Jurgen has done last summer, building for this season and rejigging the midfield a bit, I think that's done a lot of the heavy lifting for whoever the next manager is. So, like I always say, they're coming in here to a great group of players, a club that isn't in crisis, you know, a stadium that's now got a capacity of 60-odd thousand, and the signs are positive. So yeah, it's a really good job for somebody, whoever comes in to take over from Jurgen. Craig, apparently the new manager will get a lot of money. Really angered me. Where's all that money being for Klopp? Well, again, we're talking hypotheticals here. We still don't know if Klopp wanted more money and it wasn't available, or if, you know, Klopp had certain targets and he didn't want to go for numbers 2, 3 or 4 on his list. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens when the new manager gets appointed. But there is the ability for us to spend money, certainly. You know, we're in no trouble territory with FFP or anything like that. Would you take Connor Bradley at right back and then move Trent into midfield? 100%. I think from what we've been discussing over the last few days, I think most of you guys, and certainly myself and anybody I've spoken to, seem to feel that it's almost expected at this point that we'll see Conor Bradley play at right back when he comes back, which is, I guess, testament to how good he's been since he's come into the team, and also um, to how much Jurgen Klopp seems to trust them. So yeah, for me, I think we're more balanced with him at right back than Trent at right back, which I feel very... I feel horrible saying that because I'm not trying to make out like Trent's doing anything wrong. But I have to be honest and say I find us with a better balance when we've got Conor Bradley at right back than with Trent. Especially with the whole stuff about Trent in this hybrid role and the space that's been left at right back when Trent is caught upfield. Like, I mean, just look at Arsenal's first goal was a good example of the space that we left him behind, which is just unacceptable. He could have driven a truck through the centre of a defence. Craig, do you think if you get Alonso as manager, the two clubs will negotiate a clause where we're not allowed to go in for any other players for a couple of transfer windows? You see, it depends, because let's look at it like this. On the face of it, I totally understand where you're coming from, and it's not out of the realms of possibility. But on the other side of it, at the end of this campaign, regardless of what happens with Alonso, there are probably going to be 2 or 3 players in that Leverkusen team that are going to be sought after by a lot of clubs in Europe, whether that's Florian Wirtz, whether it's Diaby, or not, excuse me, not Diaby, Frimpong, or Hincapié, or Grimaldo. So if somebody's going to come back in for them, why not the manager that got them playing so well? So I don't know, is the honest answer. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something like that. Maybe just stay away. But again, I don't know. Jurgen stayed away. We know that much. He never went back for a player from Dortmund. Although we did kind of flirt with 1 or 2. Do I think Salah will extend his contract? No, I don't. I think Jurgen's announcement is going to be the catalyst for Salah to leave. I think it makes the situation easier for him to leave as well, because all he has to say is that, Jurgen's moved on and perhaps it's time for him to. But if he stays, I'm absolutely sound about that as well. I just said all along, I don't think he deserves a pay rise because his best days are behind him. And I know that sounds harsh to a lot of people, but to me it's factual. Why should you keep giving players money just because they're more senior and getting older? It doesn't make any sense to me. You wouldn't do it in any other industry. You pay people what they're worth, and he deserves to be the highest paid player at the club, no doubt about that. And I don't begrudge him a penny of the money he's getting. He's earned every penny of it, but I wouldn't be giving him another rise. What were your thoughts on the performance against Bayern? The team easily beats any Premier League team, including us. Well, I'm not as frightened of them as you seem to be. I don't think they easily beat any Premier League team. Far from it. I think that's just people getting ahead of themselves. I would say very comfortably, I feel, if we play Leverkusen in the Europa League, we beat them. And we beat them rather straightforward. I think we do it easily. Maybe you think I'm deluded, but I think the Bundesliga is a good league, but it's not as strong as the Premier League, in my opinion. Bayern Munich were pathetic in that game. They didn't lay a glove on Leverkusen. Kane was anonymous. So yeah, I think they do okay in the Premier League if you threw that Leverkusen team in, but I'm not comfortable to say they'd be beating everybody. I don't think that's the case. Looks like Robbo's been forced out of the left back position. Why? By what? By who? And how? I don't understand where that came from. Yeah, who's forcing them out of it? Because it ain't Costas. And Gomez, while great cover, certainly is not a better left back than Andy Robertson. Who would you take as a Salah replacement? It's a tough one, Alfie, because nobody's going to do what Mo does. Neto I like, Bowen I like, but not for the money that Bowen's going to be attracting, or the number that West Ham would want for him. Um, I don't know enough about Bakayoko, but I know we're definitely interested in him. So honestly, I don't know. I don't know, mate, who we bring in, because I need to see what system the new manager's going to play. Um, but we did do that poll the other night where we asked if 120 million quid came in, would you take it from Mohamed Salah? And if I remember correctly, it was about 76% said yes, they would take it. I wouldn't sell Trent for any price unless he pulls a Coutinho. Well, look, we're in a bit of a precarious position with three of our players. Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold are all in the last 1 year of their contract at the end of this season. So at the moment, there's about 16 months to run on on their contracts, and the club are going to have to get those sorted as soon as possible. You don't want to be going through the summer when players are then inside the last year of their deals. So whatever the outcome's going to be, all renewals, or some renewals, some sold, some whatever it might be, we need to get it done as quickly as possible. I'd love to sign Verts if we lose Mo, said Brandon Pollard. I get the feeling, based off what I've read over the past few months, that Bayern Munich will make a play for Florian Wirtz. Now, you would imagine or hope that if you're Leverkusen, you'd rather sell Wirtz outside the Bundesliga than to the team you're looking to pip for the title, and the team, hopefully they do pip for the title. Yeah, I think, look, I'd love him. I think Real Madrid are keeping an eye on him as well, but they surely don't have any space for any more attack-minded players at the minute. Grimaldo I like as well. I'd happily bring in Grimaldo and get rid of Costa Simicas, if I'm being honest. Having Grimaldo as an option to push Andy Robertson would be amazing. Bayern have got the curse of Kane, best player to win nothing. I know, David, we were kind of chuckling about this earlier on, actually. Kane goes over there and everybody immediately thinks, well, that's it then, he'll win the Bundesliga. We'll finally get a league title. Enter Xabi Alonso and Bayer Leverkusen, and it's not looking likely for Mr. Harry Kane. I think we need a club. What's this? Think we as a club need to get an answer to who the new manager is ASAP, as will put players and fans' mind at ease and also stop all the questions so the club can concentrate on the rest of the season. That's my thoughts exactly, Adam. And I think the same applies to Leverkusen, because once that whole thing's out of the way, they can concentrate on getting back to trying to win everything this season. We can concentrate on, the long goodbye with Jurgen, and everybody knows where they're fixed then for next season. But until then, you're right, a lot of uncertainties. If you're sitting down to negotiate with Verge or Mo or Trent, and you don't know who the next manager's going to be, that's going to be a much harder sell. You'll always have the fact that the guys love the club, that they're idolised by the fans, that I'm sure they're very comfortable living in Liverpool, but, uncertainty is nobody's friend in football. So, the more certainty we can get for decision making, the better. I think Ange will be high on City's list when Pep leaves. Ange coasts the Citigroup club in Japan. He could very well be, yeah. I always thought De Zerbi would be pretty high up on that wish list for Manchester City as well. But let's wait and see. I mean, if I'm Barcelona, I'm going for De Zerbi. If they've had about them, I'd be straight after De Zerbi if I was the Barcelona CEO. I think he'd be an incredible addition to Barcelona. But maybe he doesn't feel it's the right time to go to a club like Barca. I don't know. If we bought Grimaldo, then Robertson becomes a backup for that left back, left wing back position. At the moment, Grimaldo's the best full back, wing back in the world. You really are up on the old Leverkusen stuff, Lepers, aren't you? You're telling them they're going to walk the Premier League, and now Grimaldo's the best left back in the world. Look, it'd be a great headache for any manager to have, wouldn't it? Andy Robertson, Grimaldo, two very good players, and I wouldn't say no to having him at the team. And again, great striker of a dead ball as well. Maybe you can try fit our squad to Xabi's current system. don't think so. I won't lie, I'll struggle when I get to the top end of the pitch. I can sort out the defence, the midfield fairly straightforward with this system, but at the top of the pitch, it becomes a bit more complicated. Do you think if Xabi is appointed, the rumours surrounding another midfielder or a right winger for a Mo replacement would be true considering Xabi's system? Well, regardless of what happens with Alonso, I think I've been of the mindset that we'll say goodbye to Mo in the summer. Even before Jurgen announced he was leaving, I thought we're most likely going to lose Mo in the summer. So, from that perspective, I don't know if that changes. I mean, I'm just trying to think what players would push on under Alonso. Like, which ones I think would really get the benefit of him coming in. Bradley's name's the one at the top of my lips, to be honest with you. Probably a better chance for the likes of Carvalho to come back into the fold as well, if Alonso likes to play with his number 10s. What do you think of Trent and a double pivot in Alonso's system? Under the system, we need a new right wing. We'd need more depth in the right centre back position. Also, Bakayoko's ego problems. On the pitch, I don't know much about the kid, so I'm going to take your word for that. With regards to, what was the rest of your question? A double pivot. Well, look, I've always said if Trent goes into midfield, I would only feel comfortable with him playing in a double pivot because I don't think he has the ability to play as a number 6. I don't think he is a hard enough worker to play in the right side of Jurgen Klopp's midfield. So I think a double pivot is probably the best suited. Now, whether that's a double pivot with Endo, whether that's a double pivot with McAllister or somebody else, I guess that remains to be seen. Maybe Gravenberch could fit into that position, but I'm definitely at a point where I've had enough of seeing Trent at right back. In the hybrid way, because teams are figuring it out. And we're asking a lot of Canade as well to cover, his side and Trent's side. What would you value Grimaldo in the summer? I've got no idea, Harry. I don't know his contract situation off the top of my head, so assuming he had at least 2 years left on his contract, I don't know, 60? Something like that. Did you see Branthwaite? Apparently, Manchester City are looking at him as an option, and the number of 100 million has been mentioned again. The football transfers are gone crazy. The prices are just absolutely ludicrous. Gakpo, Szoboszlai is a 10, Darwin and the striker and in the Alonso structure, said Harry. Gakpo, oh God, I don't know about Gakpo. Maybe. I can certainly see him as a second 10. He's not going to get a chance on the left wing, is he? So, maybe. There's a lot we'll all have to learn, especially me, no more so than anybody else. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of hours spent watching clips and tactical breakdowns and stuff, trying to figure out the Alonso system, if indeed, of course, Xabi does get appointed Liverpool manager. Who would we see in attacking change if Alonso came in? Does Núñez, Diaz and Jota all stay? Well, Núñez, 100% yes. I would imagine, Alonso would want to work with him. Diaz, yeah, I would say there's a place for him. I think we're fine with the attackers we have. The question is what happens with Mo. The rest of them I can't really see going anywhere. Did you know the extent of Trent's injury? Not yet, Josh, no. Jurgen, speaking after the game yesterday, said that Trent felt something, also said he could go on, but definitely did feel something, so I think it was precautionary. He had a brace on as well, you might notice that, on his left knee, I think. But if we're talking about yesterday, rather than talking about Trent, I feel like we should be talking about the impact that we've seen from Harvey Elliott when he came on. I think we'll all agree he was one of the factors that we won that game. He played fantastic when he came on. Endo was also a great game, of course. But I think Elliot, I'm just glad to see him starting to get some of the credit that I think he deserves. If Alonso comes, he can speak Spanish to Darwin. Yep, there you go. We've got that as well. And Darwin can come back and go, who are we? How do you feel about Liverpool forcing people out of their homes, compulsory purchase and houses around Anfield? I mean, it's a bit of a tough question there, Andrew. You've kind of just sprung it on me, mate. When you start talking about compulsory purchase orders of anything, land, homes, whatever it might be, it's a sensitive subject, right? Because, as you've pointed out, some people's homes. But sometimes progression is needed, and sometimes facelifts of an area are required. And I don't know enough about the situation, in all honesty. But you'd never like to hear or read about anybody being forced out of anywhere. You know, sometimes you get people who just want to be paid off and sit around till the very end and be that last person standing because they think they're going to get the biggest payday. Sometimes people have genuine reasons why they don't want to move somewhere. So yeah, getting that blend right between progress and, of course, respecting people's rights to live, it's a tricky balance. What else we got? 120 million for Mo. Even 2 million is Mo minimum. What? Nobody's paying 200 million for Mo. People need to stop being stupid about this stuff just because Saudi have money. They're not idiots. They're not going to just come and pay 200 million for somebody with a year to go on their contract. They're not that stupid. You don't get to have so much money if you're that stupid with it. So I think people are losing the run of themselves with the amount of money they think he's worth. He's worth probably 100 million quid with a year to go on his contract, 100, 120 maybe max, you know. So I don't see where people get the 150 from. I think 120 is more than fair for somebody in his age with 1 year left on their deal. It's pretty good business. Nigeria 1-0 up. Goal in the African Cup of Nations. There you go. Breakthrough. I still can't figure out how the hell Ivory Coast managed to get all the way to the final, by the way. Because they were so close to going out, right? When they were in the group stages. And now, fair play to them. They've dug in and, as the host nation, have found themselves in the final. So, yeah, incredible. Who scored, by the way? Just out of curiosity. I know Nigeria, but who scored for Nigeria? Will I be doing Champions League watch-alongs this week? Probably, yeah. Yeah, I haven't gone through the schedule yet to see exactly what we're going to do, but yes, we will be doing some watch-alongs this week. Alfie said, want to say thank you for your channel. I play for an academy in Cyprus, and when I come back from training, I always watch. Thank you for everything. You deserve more subscribers. Road to 300k. Thank you so much, Alfie. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be part of anybody's daily routine, mate. So thank you for that. I hope your academy football goes well and you keep progressing, listen to your coaches, mate. And yeah, please God, we get to 250k soon. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, my friends, please do. We're about 30 away, I think, from 241,000. So every single one does make a world of difference to us. So thank you for everyone that has been watching, supporting, commenting. It very much is appreciated. Am I doing a Super Bowl watch along later? No, I'm not, George. I'm just going to... I'll do a Super Bowl eat along because I'll be sitting on the sofa eating pizza. But no, I won't be doing a watch along of it, mate. I'm going to be selfish and just sit at home and watch it. Have to remember the lost revenue if we lose Mo. Oh, yeah, I understand that. But I don't know. Look, I know sometimes I sound like I'm almost just accepting that Mo's leaving. I truly don't know what's going to happen there. But I also know that the longer it goes on, the likelihood of him leaving increases. And his hand in these negotiations is strengthened as each week goes by and he gets closer to the last year of his deal. And And I don't know what the managerial situation means for Mohamed Salah. I don't know what it means for the club if they won't negotiate until they know who the manager is. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's why I said at the start of the stream, ideally for me, I'd love to know who the next Liverpool manager is soon, so we can plan accordingly and the players have an idea of what to expect. Will I be doing the Europa League final against Chelsea? Chelsea aren't in Europe, are they? No. So, do you mean League Cup final against Chelsea? Because they're not in the Europa League. Who would I want to replace Salah with? Neto, Kubo, Bowen. I'm not going to go into the ridiculous names like the Mbappes, the Rafa Leaos, the Kvaratskhelia. That's just not going to happen. Zubamendi, I wouldn't say no. I like Zubamendi as a player. But it's hard to have an answer because there's so many unknowns about squads, formations, sporting directors, budgets. I don't know what we're working with. Is American football easy to understand? Never seen it before. Thinking of watching the Super Bowl. Is it easy to understand? I think the basics of it are, yes. Now, there are intricacies in it, of course, that I wouldn't even profess to know about, but I think you should be able to follow it rather straightforward. For me, the thing I needed to get used to the most was the flags. It was the umpires throwing the yellow flags. That was the thing that I needed to get used to, because you think a play happens and then you look and it's like, nope, flag on the play. And then you have to see why. Is it defensive? Is it offensive? Is it going to be 15 yards? Is it going to be 10 yards? Is it going to be 5 yards? And how does it affect the game? So when you get used to that, I think the rest starts to fall into place. The ads never stop being annoying. They don't. I won't lie. They never stop being annoying. To be fair, if Xabi comes, we might go for a winger or for a Salah replacement, says Madness. Yeah. It's hard to know, because we don't know. We're all thinking the 4-3-3 system that we have at the minute. So we're all used to exactly how we set up and how Mo plays. If Mo isn't there, then who moves across? And, we've got a fair idea of what the lay of the land looks like. But no Klopp means we're unsure of the system. Is it going to be Alonso's system that he plays with Leverkusen? Or will it be a different manager altogether? Do you have any interest in Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia? And if you do, how bad do you think Haney beats Ryan? I think, like you've said, Haney beats him very easily. I don't think Ryan Garcia will really lay a glove on him. Tank absolutely went through Garcia. I think Haney's just a level above, but will I watch it? Yes, absolutely. I think if that fight's made, I'll watch it, because big fan of Devin Haney. Love watching him box. He's a classy operator, but I can't see Ryan Garcia beating him at all, no. Champions League better than Premier League, better than World Cup. Yeah, I like Champions League. It's my favourite competition, so I'm not going to argue with you on that one. It's official April 20th. Which is that, Letters? I'm not sure what we're talking about there, bud. What happens if we don't get Alonso? Yeah, that's it's a question, Luca, I've been asking myself over the last few days, mate. I'm almost arrogant in my belief that we'll get Alonso. But if we don't, yeah, it's a fair question. My initial answer is that it will feel like a disappointment if we don't get Alonso. That's, me being honest. I'm pretty much set to think we'll get Alonso, so it would come as a pretty big disappointment if we didn't. The idea of Xabi Alonso coming in to take over from Jurgen Klopp is, after I got to grips with the idea of Jurgen leaving, it kind of helped settle me, if I'm being honest with you. It helped calm me down a little bit, because when I first heard Jurgen was leaving at the end of the season, I was, to say shocked would be an understatement, but Scared is probably the next word, because it's been a lovely 9 years knowing we have that consistency of manager, and we know what he can get out of the players and how we can inspire the players and how we can orchestrate the audience, or the crowd inside Anfield. And yeah, it's a scary new world, the idea of no Jurgen. Craig, I won't lie, that win against Bayern Munich really just solidified my want for him. There's almost this aura around him, and his name just pulled. There is, you're right, and we speak about gravitas a lot when we talk about future or potential Liverpool managers. It's an important part of the job, having the stature in the game to obviously have people buy in, to have the players listen, to be able to attract players into the club. And whoever you hear speak about Xabi Alonso, look at what the Marseille chairman said about him when he tried to get him in as a manager. He almost felt like thanking him for saying no because of the way that he worded it. And he is just a very articulate, intelligent man, Xabi Alonso. Do you think Scott McTominay would walk into our midfield? No. He's shite. Nobody can get near our midfield. Don't let the fact that he's rescuing this shocking United team with late goals or with goals off the bench fool you into thinking he's good enough to step near our midfield. He wouldn't be in the first six in my midfield, to be honest with you. How about Joachim Low? No. Don't want scratch and sniff. No, he can do one. I don't want another German. I'm going to say that straight out. Don't want another German. Don't want a Tuchel. Don't want a Nagelsmann. Don't want a Hansi Flick. Don't want anyone German, thanks. We had the best of the Germans. And anybody else after Jurgen would just feel like a pale imitation. I would have said Mainu, but we've a better version of Stefan. Oh, look. Kobe Mainu is a wonderfully gifted young footballer. No denying it. He's definitely the real deal. And I think he will do well at Manchester United. He's a very good footballer. Kubo would be a great replacement for Salah, but to be honest, I would also go for Johan. So Kubo's an interesting one. I don't think Real Madrid will end up buying him because, they've obviously got a lot of other deals they're working on. Oh, sorry, Devin Haney Ryan Garcia is April 20th in Vegas. Now I understand what that date was about. Thank you, Mark, for helping me out there. Liverpool have made contact with Alonso's entourage ahead of next season. The door is open, although the former midfielder does not want to make a decision on his future until the end of the season, says Sasha Tavalieri. I don't know the answer to this question, but if I was FSG, even if Alonso's the number one target, I don't know that you could wait till the end of the season to make a decision. I don't know. Because let's say it went tits up and he says no. Then you're scrambling at that point and you've wasted all this time that, we have from Jurgen making the announcement. So I'd be quite nervy if that's the actual situation that we have to hang off and see in the summer. I don't know if we can do that. It feels like an accident waiting to happen. Do you think we'll beat Brentford? Depends. It's not going to be easy. But if we want to win the league, we've got to be going to places like Brentford and expecting to leave with the 3 points. So we've got no excuses. We've had basically 13 days with one game in between before this game at the weekend that we just played against Burnley. So we'll have been rested enough. We'll have had time to work on the training ground. So there's no excuses. If the only excuse would be we don't play well. So yeah, we should be beating Brentford. What do you think about Ivan Toney to replace Salah? No, thank you. Not for me. We have Darwin. And we have Jota. I don't want another central striker at the moment. So Ivan Toney's brilliant, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but not for me at Liverpool. Don't think he's what we need at the minute. Do you think Lucho leaves with his new manager in? I don't think we've seen the best of him. He's a bit hit and miss, but I can't see him fitting into Alonso's side at all. I think he's the most likely after Mo to leave, but I don't know who buys him. Like, do Barca have the money? Probably not. Um, so yeah, I don't know is the answer, but I wouldn't be in a rush to get rid of him. I think Lucho's really starting to show that little spark again. You know, his goal yesterday was brilliant. I loved how much he committed to going for that header at the near post, like, and I love the celebration. So yeah, I'm certainly not wishing him away. Love this channel. Surely it's Alonso. It's the fairy tale story, said Daz. I think so, Daz. It's certainly the best I can think of, mate, as an alternative to Jurgen, because I've always said the same thing. I want Jurgen in the job as long as Jurgen wants to be in the job. So um, now that we know Jurgen is leaving, Alonso feels like a very good next manager, a very good next evolution of the club. Is Trent available for Brentford? Honest answer, Jack, I don't know, mate. I don't know. It was precautionary, but you'd almost be scared to second guess with us, because sometimes I feel something's minor, it ends up being a big problem, and the other way around. Sometimes you think it's going to be a big issue, and it isn't. So I don't know, but I'm a little bit scared about the Bajcetic stuff. I can't hide that. It's a bit too quiet on Bajcetic, and when things are that quiet, it worries me. Like, why is it taking this long? Why is this season being a write-off for him? I think the club could be a little bit better in communicating that, but also I guess it is someone's medical records and it is private information. But yeah, that's been the real letdown of this season for me, because we were all really excited to see how Stefan gets on in his next season, because we were all blown away by how well he played last year, and unfortunately we haven't got a chance to see him. Craig, Brentford aren't that good. City pulled their pants down, and we should really be doing the same. Well, look, it's just about getting the points, mate. I don't. If we leave there with a 1-0 victory in the 96th minute, I don't care, as long as we leave there with 3 points. What's your top 4 prediction by the end of the season? I'm going to go Liverpool to win the league, because of course I am. Manchester City second, Arsenal third, Spurs fourth, Villa fifth, United sixth. That's going to be my guess. Newcastle seventh. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. My birthday tomorrow, Craig. I'm the same age as you, mate. We're both 39.3. Happy birthday, Derek, my friend. I wish you many happy returns. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow, bro. And I hope you're spoiled rotten as well. Well in. A nice youngster like myself, mate. 39.3. X-Pulse Hugh said, to be fair, if Stefan's picking up niggles every so often, they really do need to risk him the amount of options we have. It's not that even risking him, it's just I'd like a bit more information on him, so we know where we're at with him, because we're all really excited to see him again, and I think that's the concern. I think more than that, it's just that we all admire him so much and think what a good player we have on our hands, and just like to see a little bit more of him on the pitch. So optimistic about Chelsea. Chelsea are shite. So there's no way they're getting up near the top 5. Their best hopes this season are, of course, the League Cup final against us, and then the FA Cup. And they did very well to beat Aston Villa in the replay in the FA Cup. But yeah, their best chance of getting back into Europe is to win the League Cup or the FA Cup. I think what's this? I think the lads we have now will really suit a 3-4-2-1. Xabi plays. I'm really excited to see Cody in the 2 behind the 9, said Shahid. I reckon the City game will be a title decider, said You'll Never Walk Alone 011. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think if we win it, surely that gives you the confidence to keep chugging along. But I'm not going to be celebrating like we've won the league if we beat City, because there's plenty of football still to be played, and this is the Premier League after all. So anything is possible. Anybody can turn over anybody on any given day. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But yeah, and I'm also pretty confident going into that game we won't lose it. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to definitely win it, but I would be incredibly surprised if we lost at home. Thoughts on Mainu from United? Really good young player. You can see the man oozes class, and yeah, no sly jokes or anything from me. He looks like a very good player. Is the reason we get so many injuries because of Klopp's attacking football? Said Noah. I don't think it's the attacking part of it. I think it's just how hard the players have to work, how much ground they have to cover, how hard the training sessions are. I think that does catch up, yes. But I also think VAR has added to injuries right across the board because the game's been so stop-start. And I'm not saying it's hurting us more than anybody else, but it certainly isn't helping when players have to stand around for a couple of minutes waiting for decisions when they're after being sprinting a full pelt and then being asked to go at it again. So yeah, that doesn't help. I can see Man City beating Arsenal. Oh God, I can see them absolutely trouncing Arsenal. Um, that's at the Etihad as well. So yes, I mean, look, I'd love Arsenal to go there and get a result, but I can't. I don't see it. If Alonso comes, I see him using Elliott as mainly as an attacking midfielder. He's good passing and press. I see Elliott piling up assists. Bradley too will be crucial. Let's remember we have Owen Beck. Yes, it's been a good season to see some youngsters coming through. We were talking about this earlier on. Like we've had, in the last year, let's say, Bajcetic come through, Bobby Clark, James McConnell, Jarrell Kwanzaa, obviously Connor Bradley now. We've seen Kate Gordon start to come back and get some minutes. We've seen Lewis Kumas start to break through and get into first team squads. So it's really good from that regard. It's one of probably the most prosperous time I can think of for players coming from the academy system through to get first team opportunities. And the more the merrier. And Owen Beck, another name that we can mention there as well. Kelleher coming through from the keeping situation. So academy's certainly pulling its weight. Certainly a very good sign for the future. And I think, as Adam and I said earlier on, I think we probably see more of this throughout the Premier League in general now, where they're starting to trust the academy players and, realising that there's a lot of money to be saved if you can get a couple of good academy prospects through. Yeah, trainee only, another name as well. What do I think of Gakpo and Gravenberch? Excuse me. Both need to do better. Gravenberch, I have a lot of patience for because he didn't get a full pre-season. He didn't play a lot of football over the last 18 months. He's still only 21 or so. And so, yeah, I have patience for him. The problem I have with Cody Gakpo is I don't understand where he ends up playing for us. Like, I don't see him pinning down a position that when we're thinking of the strongest 11, Cody Gakpo's name is there. So as long as I can't figure that out, I'm a bit concerned. But I also was surprised when we signed him because I didn't feel like we actually needed a player in that position at the time. But certainly glad to have him around. Like the kid, looks like a lovely young man and certainly has talent, but we need to see him kick on. And I think that's fair. There's more to come from both of them. What's the next match on top of the league? Don't know yet. Haven't looked. It'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the Champions League games. And it won't be Man City, because I'm not sitting through Man City. I can't be arsed watching them. Why do you think some players just aren't good enough managers? Examples, Rooney, Lampard, Gerrard. All the three you've spoken about there are all class players themselves when they played football. And maybe sometimes what they see on a football pitch, they can't explain to others, if that makes any sense. So they always say the greatest players make the game look easy and make the game look slow and make everything look like they're a yard ahead. Maybe they can't comprehend how to get that across as a manager. Maybe they can't explain what becomes natural to them as a player. Other reason, I don't know. Like, truly, I don't know. None of the three of them struck me as people who would go into management. But then again, I would have bet my life that Jamie Carragher would have went into management. Certainly ahead of Steven Gerrard anyway. So when Carragher decided to go into punditry, I was genuinely surprised. I thought he had coaching written all over him. Some of the play Leverkusen did was class. Wirtz was involved in most of it. Alonso comes, would you take him here? Of course. I think any club in Europe would happily welcome Florian Wirtz in the door. He looks like an outstanding young player. Him, Musiala, obviously at Bayern are probably two of the best young talents. I think Jamal Musiala is an incredible footballer as well. Do I play Rocket League? I do not, but my son does. Does Craig play Pokemon Go? I do not know. I don't have a single game on my phone. Not one. Not even solitaire. Do you think Virgil has looked shaky in the last few games? Okay, I'm not sure if the word shaky is the right word. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Not arrogant. Lackadaisical is probably the word I'm looking for. I'd like a little bit more effort. A little bit less trying to look cool. A little bit more. I want to see him running at full pace first and foremost. And not just enough. Just enough to get there. Just enough to get the block. Stop backing off. Stand up. The goal we conceded against Chelsea, I felt like he stood off inside the 18-yard box too much. The goal we conceded against Arsenal, the first one, I don't know where the hell he was. So yeah, and we need to be better defending set pieces as well, because we're conceding too many chances for my liking from corners. Surely you play 8-ball on your phone. I don't have a single game on my phone, mate. No, not one. Yeah, not one. Believe it or not. Do you think Carvalho has a future at Liverpool if Xabi comes in? No. I know Fabrizio Romano has said that the kid has a future at the club and it could even be next season. There's something in his attitude or something that it mustn't be right for that trip over to RB Leipzig not to have worked out for him, because it was set up as a perfect club with good players and certainly utilising his strengths, and it just didn't work out. And when you hear the RB Leipzig, I don't know if it was one of the coaches or somebody say that he just didn't fancy the fight for a starting place, basically. Who'd be better manager, Thiago or Milner? Milner for me. Yeah, I think Milner. Professor Obedient said, I love the show, keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend, I appreciate you. About 10 more minutes tonight though before we finish up, and then we all get ready to sit back and watch the Super Bowl and enjoy. It's going to be some evening, I can't wait. Usher halftime show as well, very much looking forward to that. Who's got the goal of the season in your opinion? Oh, I've such a bad memory, mate. I'm not the right person to ask about that. Garnacho, probably. Off the top of my head, that Garnacho volley is right up there. It's just incredible. Incredible volley. Gravenberch on loan if Wirtz comes in. I'd keep Gravenberch. I definitely feel that kid has a big future ahead of him. Can you make a Niners versus Chiefs vote? Yeah, yeah, no probs. Let's throw that up real quick. 1 second. There you go. Who wins? 49ers or the Chiefs? Let's see how you guys are feeling ahead of the Super Bowl. Liverpool's best goal, Alexis McAllister, says Cawser. Are you sticking with supporting Lions? The Lions and the Packers are probably the two that the Packers are the ones I feel a bit of an emotional connection to, because Aaron Rodgers was the reason I started watching NFL. And now, since Love has come in, he looks pretty damn good as well. Jordan Love looks like an incredible young quarterback. So yeah, I'm kind of flirting between the two at the minute, to be honest with you, between the Texans and the Packers. I don't understand the Super Bowl. Can I explain? There's no way I could explain it to you, Emmy. It's one of those, just kind of follow the action as it goes along, and you'll figure it out bit by bit. That's kind of how I fell into the NFL anyway. Do I think Thiago will retire? I think he'll try not to, and maybe go one more move, but I think it'll end in tears and he'll end up retiring, unfortunately. His body just doesn't look like it's able to cope with the rigours of professional football anymore, which is an incredible shame considering how good a player he is. Who do I think will be champions tonight? It's hard to back against the Chiefs, isn't it? They've gone on the road this year. They've beaten the Ravens. They've just found a way. 49ers have an incredible roster of players as well. I can't see past the Chiefs, if I'm being honest. I think Mahomes will just find a way, like the greats do. But to be fair, Purdy put the 49ers on his shoulders as well in the second half of their last game, and he found a way to get it done, and fair play. So I feel like it's coming down to the last play. I think it'll be that close, and we could be talking about running down the clock for a last minute field goal or a last second field goal, a walk off win. I don't know. It's gonna be close though. People saying they can't stand Mahomes. I don't know why. The dude's just class. I don't know how you couldn't love him. I love that mentality. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Pat Mahomes. I think he's amazing. Do you think we'll win the Europa League? Yes, I do. Um, but then again, I'm a little bit deluded about that. I think because it's in Dublin and, it's Klopp's last year now, it just feels like a great way to sign off. And unless we're in the FA Cup final, that could be the last game of the whole season as well. So it'll feel like an awful anticlimax if the final's in Dublin this year and Liverpool aren't in it. It would be. I think it's all set up for a Liverpool Leverkusen final, right? That's what the script writers will certainly be looking at. I'd rather watch paint dry than the Super Bowl. I think you're each to their own. I understand it. I don't get how people watch cricket or golf, but each to their own. I think for me, I never used to watch NFL, but last 2.5, 3 years, I watch all of it as much as I can. Is the Super Bowl like a Champions League? Is the Super Bowl like a Champions League? Well, they like to call it the World Championship. It's the halftime show I love as well, by the way. Can't wait to see Usher take to the stage again. Big fan of Usher. Big fan of I like dancers, and Usher's pretty damn good dancer as well. So Has the draw for the Europa League happened yet? No, because we get to skip this round. So there's a set of fixtures, Emmy, this week. But Liverpool top the group in the Europa League. So that means we automatically go through to the next round. And now there's a knockout round for the teams that were third in the Champions League groups and the teams that finished runners-up in the Europa League. So they're taking place over the next couple of weeks. And then we'll be back in for the next round. Can't wait till the Super Bowl's over. Don't have to hear about this nonsense for a year. Well, 6 months, Andre, before it starts all over again. What about Millie as manager? He's not qualified to become manager. Millie as a coach, absolutely. As part of a managerial team or a set of an appointment, no problem. But he's not he's not a coach. Remember, we've 0 world-class players. We're only good because of Klopp's system. Yeah. Well, let's see how that works on. Did I watch the Bayern match last night? I got the second half of it. And, well, actually, no, I got a bit more than that. I got the last 10 of the first half and then the second half of it. And I was just blown away by how on point Leverkusen were and how hungry they were. I thought it was a really good watch. And it was a great advertisement for Alonso's system and the way he wants his teams to play. Bayern couldn't get near them. Why doesn't Klopp play Trent in midfield? I don't know, Noah. Maybe he doesn't know where to play him in midfield. That's the problem I have in our system. Because he's not a 6, so you couldn't play him as a lone 6. And I also don't think he does enough running to cover, let's say, Szoboszlai's position. Leverkusen absolutely smothered them. And that's exactly what I would say as well, Ari. And yes, smothered is the word I would use. Just all over them. So look, my friends, I'm going to go and settle in for the Super Bowl. But I will catch you all tomorrow, 4 o'clock, back here for another live stream. If you aren't watching the Super Bowl, have a good night, whatever it is that you're going to do on this Sunday evening. For those of you that are going to watch the Super Bowl, enjoy. Anyone in the Discord, I'll be active in there, chatting along with you if you're watching it. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Do please hit the subscribe button before you head off if you haven't done it already. Drop a like on the stream as well. And yeah, please do drop a like, by the way. There's 326. We get up to 500 before we head off. But yeah, until then, enjoy your Sunday evenings. I'll see you all tomorrow. And much love to you all and best of luck to both teams tonight as well. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.